y'all, it's Casey with Russo Resells. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Casey. I am a full-time online reseller and I sell on platforms such as eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, and Curtsy. Today is July 5th, the day after the 4th of July, and I'm not sure if it was nationwide, but for the post offices in my region, they were closed both Friday and Saturday. So on Thursday, I had to get a bunch of items packaged up and shipped out, and I unfortunately was not able to hop on and show you all the items. So that's why I am here today doing so. I am actually going to pop up screenshots of each item that I sold, I want to say on Wednesday and Thursday to ship out on Thursday. And then I am going to show you guys what I sold, I want to say for Friday and Saturday, and a little bit of today, both on Poshmark and Depop, because those are the platforms where I can easily just print out the label without having it shown to the buyer. And then tomorrow I will go ahead and hop on and show you all of the eBay sales. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Wednesday and Thursday sales. Now I did move the screen because I'm going to pop up the screenshots right here, and I do have my little notes. So the first item that I sold was on Poshmark. It is this Missoni for Target. It is a collared long sleeve black and white sweater dress. I actually got it, I believe, at a half off Salvation Army sale for only $4, and that's why I did pick it up. Usually I don't pick up Missoni for Target. I only pick up the actual M by Missoni or just the Missoni labels, but because it was only $4, I did pick it up. I priced it pretty reasonably on Poshmark for $35. My Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers of 27, and one of those likers did accept. My fees to Poshmark were $5.40, and I turned $4 into $21.60. I probably would not pick that up again because it did take a year and a half to sell. So the next items that sold actually sold in a bundle. So the first item is this Eileen Fisher. It was like a really capsule black blouse, but it was a little elevated because it did have ribbing throughout, which I thought was a great touch. I did get this for about $8 at my local Savers. And then the next item in the bundle is this really cute Kate Quinn. It's a black and white stripe little sundress. It is 100% organic cotton, and for those of you new here, I do mark all of my children's items in my inventory at a cost of goods of about $1. So I have $9 into both of these items, and when they were combined into a bundle on Poshmark, it was $52, and my bundle price on Poshmark is 25% off, so that was sent out. It was $39, and the buyer countered to $36, which I thought was very reasonable, and I did go ahead and accept that. My fees to Poshmark were $7.20, and I turned $9 into $28.80. Now, this next item to sell is very exciting. I have had this for about a year and a half, but I did not want to get rid of it. I knew it would sell and it would sell to the right buyer, and that it did. It is this beautiful Johnny Was like mustard yellow cheetah printed ruffle collar blouse. It is 100% silk, very beautiful, and I'm happy that it sold at a reasonable price because I would have accepted anything from like $40 to $50. I did have it priced at $80 on Poshmark, and I was offered $70, and I thought that was fantastic because my Nifty would have sent them out, I want to say like a $62 offer or $64 offer. So very happy to accept $70. My fees to Poshmark were $14, and I made a profit of $56. I did buy this at actually not even a thrift store. I bought it off of ThredUp, and all of my ThredUp purchases are about $10, or that's what they average out to be. So I turned $10 into $56. This next item to sell I got from Miss Kimmy over on Mama on a Mission through one of her Whatnot shows. So just like ThreadUp for Whatnot, I average all of my cost of goods to about $10. I did have these priced at $39.99 plus $10 ship. They are a pair of Athleta 100% linen blue. I want to say like they're the Cabo linen pants. And just a great item to have in your store during the summer for sure. And what's funny about these is that I actually had a buyer on Poshmark ask me a lot of questions about them, and she wanted to offer a lower price, and then she realized that they wouldn't work for her, so she quickly rescinded that offer, which that is totally fine. I don't want someone to buy something that is not going to work for them. And then a day later, someone just came into my eBay store and purchased them outright, which we absolutely love. So like I said, $39.99 plus $10 ship. That's what the buyer paid. It cost me $8.13 to ship. My fees to eBay were $6.75, and I turned $10 into $35.11. Absolutely love that. Now, this next item I actually regretted purchasing once I got it home. I did get it from the Goodwill outlet bins in Los Angeles, so I paid about $2 for it. It is this really deep blue and black embroidered, very flowy peasant top, and it didn't have a tag. Like I said, it was unbranded. I did go ahead and still list it, hoping that it would sell on Depop for style, and that's exactly what happened. I had it listed for $28, and over on Depop, my Nifty sent out 18% off offers to likers of $21.37, and one of those likers did purchase it at that price. My fees to Depop were $1.21, and I turned $2 into $20.16. I couldn't be more thrilled with that. So the last item to sell on Thursday is this Lily Pulitzer tube top. At first, when I picked it up, I did think that it was a skirt, but then I got home, I did a little bit more research on it, and it is a tube top. It seemed to be new without tags, and it was only marked at $5 at my local Savers, which I was kind of shocked by because usually my Savers prices up Lily Pulitzer. So very happy with that. I did have a 20% off coupon that day, so I probably only paid like $4. Very, very thrilled. I did price it on Poshmark for $35, and my Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers of $28. One of those likers did counter at $20, and because I only got it for $4, I did go ahead and accept that. My fees to Poshmark were $4, and I turned $4 into $16. So those are all of my sales on Wednesday and Thursday of this past week, and we're going to go ahead and hop into the sales that I had both on Poshmark and Depop for the last few days. Okay, I do have tennis in about 45 minutes, so I hope to go through these quite quickly, and we are going to go through the Poshmark sales first, and then I'll show you the Depop sales. So the first item to sell is by Soft Surroundings. I actually purchased this from Mackenzie over on McThrifty, and it was just a little too small for me, so I decided to reposh it. It is this beautiful red velvet long sleeve button down top, and it does have this beautiful lace on the hem. It's absolutely gorgeous, and within like 4 to 6 months, it probably will fit, but I am going through a little closet crisis right now where a lot of things are actually too big on me, so I am trying to declutter my closet and hopefully build a more capsule wardrobe for myself, so that just had to go. I did price it at $38, and I had a buyer offer me $30, and that's roughly what my Nifty would have sent out anyway, so I did go ahead and accept that. My fees to Poshmark were $6, and I made a profit of $24. I don't remember how much I purchased that for from Mackenzie, but I am happy to get it to a new home to be used. Now, the next item to sell is by Athleta. And just like the blue linen pants, I actually bought these from the same person, Miss Kimmy, over on Mama on a Mission in one of her Whatnot shows for about $10. These are the same. They're 100% linen, red, just a straight leg pant. And these are also called the Cabo linen pant. So very happy with this pickup. I did price them on Poshmark for $40, and a lovely buyer came in and purchased them outright. My fees to Poshmark were $8, and I turned $10 into $32, which we absolutely love. Now, the next item to sell is by Gianni Versace, and this is a vintage label. This is actually coming out of my mother-in-law's closet. She had given it to my cousin. My cousin did not want it, so she sent it back to me to sell. It is this collared, sheer, beautiful blouse, and it has that cool detail in the middle. As you can tell, it is white. It does have a lot of discoloration and stains, which I did go ahead and list in the listing, or point out in the listing. And for that reason, I did decide to go ahead and list it much lower than comp suggested at $50, knowing that the buyer would have to stain treat all of those markings. And my Nifty sent out a 20% off offers to likers of $40, and one of those likers did counter at $30. This is a free to me item, so I did decide to go ahead and accept that. My fees to Poshmark were $6, and I turned $0 into $24. The next item to sell, I did get off the ThredUp website, and like I said earlier, all of my cost of goods for ThredUp is about $10, or the average is. So I have $10 into this. This is by Flax, and this is a really nice orange button-down blouse. It is missing the last button, so I did decide to list it a little lower than comp suggested, but otherwise it is in fantastic pre-loved condition. I priced this on Poshmark for $50, and my Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers of $40. One liker did counter at $25, and I have had this listed for almost a year and a half, so I did decide to go ahead and accept that. My fees to Poshmark were $5, and I doubled my money by making $20. Very happy with that, especially because I sourced it online and it was delivered straight to my doorstep. Now, the next item to sell is by Atlantic Pacific, and it is a Lake collaboration, which is a great pajama line or brand. I keep saying line, but great pajama brand. This is a coral and white stripe colored button-down sleep dress. Absolutely beautiful. And if you've seen my videos before, I'm usually always selling one of these either in this color, or I did have a blue and white striped one. For some reason, my Salvation Army got a bunch of these, and I decided to buy almost each and every one of them because they were half off. They were only about $4 each, and they are new without tags. I believe they got them from like a boutique or a store. So I did price this very reasonably. I had it priced at about $50, and because that color in particular has been sitting for a while, I did decide over the months to go ahead and steadily decrease the price, and the price was decreased to $30. My Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers of $24, and one of those likers did accept that offer. My fees to Poshmark were $4.80, and I turned $4 into $19.20. Very happy with that. Now, the next item to sell is actually a pair of items, and they are by Dolce Vita. And these are the cutest pair of silver ballet flats. Absolutely love these. They are new without tags and box. These are coming from my tennis teammate for consignment, and I priced these pretty competitively, pretty high. I priced them at $80, and I did receive a lot of lowball offers, but I stuck to my guns because I knew that these were worth more than $50. And To my surprise, they sold on a nifty offer, which I was very, very thrilled with. Like I said, I had them priced at $80. My Nifty on Poshmark sent out 20% off offers to Likers of 64, and one of those Likers did accept. Our fees to Poshmark were $12.80. My tennis teammate made a profit of $30.72, and I made a profit of $20.48. Very happy that I took the chance and I waited to sell these to the right buyer. Okay, so this is the last item to sell on Poshmark, and the weirdest thing happened to me with these. I absolutely cannot remember where I purchased them. I looked through all of my ThredUp purchase history. I looked through all of my RealReal purchase history, and I just could not find anything. So it is strange to me, but I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to say I have about $10 to $20 into these maybe, because I do thrift a lot of my own wardrobe. These are by Bagley Mishka, and as you can see, I have the box for them, and I've never worn them, ever. They come with the backup jewels, and then they are in fantastic, obviously, new condition. They are a satin heel with all of these jewels and just a block heel. Amazing. And I don't know why I had these in my closet for so long without never wearing them. It is a mystery to me, but nonetheless, I did decide to go ahead and list them. And I did list them at $60, very reasonable price for this type of shoe, because the glue underneath the jewels on top of that band was kind of showing. So I did go ahead and disclose that. I tried to show as many pictures as possible, and actually not even my Nifty sent out an offer. I actually received an offer of 45. My Nifty would have sent out an offer of 48, so I did decide to go ahead and accept that. My fees to Poshmark were $9, and I made a profit of $36 on an item that basically I never used and was not intending to use. I think that is absolutely fantastic, and it just goes to show to definitely look in your closet and see what you have. Now, this is the first Depop sale. I'm getting ahead of myself. So I'm very happy that these sold. I did get them at a half off Salvation Army sale for about $10. They are this beautiful pair of Kate Spade with a Keds collaboration. They're like little sparkly wedding shoes, or at least that's what they were marketed as. Let's see if they have it right here. And I actually had these listed for about $50, but like the Atlantic Pacific Lake sleep dress, I did decrease the price on these dramatically. So I decreased the price to $30, and actually not even a Nifty offer. I keep on doing that. I just suspect that Nifty is sending out a lot of offers for me, which it is, and that is how I get a lot of my sales. But this buyer actually offered me $22, which I gladly accepted, because I have had these listed for almost 2 years, and my fees to Depop were $1.24, and I doubled my money by making a profit of $20.76. Our last Depop sale is from Oakley, and this is actually a free to me item. It was my husband's. It is a charcoal collared button-down long sleeve. It is in fantastic condition, and I really wanted him to keep it, but gray and black are just not his colors. So I did decide to go ahead and list it, and to my surprise, it sold pretty reasonably, or for a reasonable price. Usually I can't get Oakley to move at the price that this did. So I priced it on Depop for $28. My Nifty sent out an 18% off offer to Likers of $23.75, and one of those Likers did go ahead and purchase it at that price. My fees to Depop were $1.31, and I turned a free to me item into $22.44. So I'm very happy with that. And with that being said, those are all of the sales that I had on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And Well, at least for Poshmark and Depop. And then tomorrow, I hope to hop back on to show you all of my eBay sales for those days and hopefully some sales that go through today. So don't go anywhere. I will be right back with more sales. Okay, y'all, it is now Monday, July 6th, and we are going to get into the eBay sales and the one Mercari sale that I had over this past weekend, and then I had one sale on Poshmark today. So the first items to sell are a pair of Roxy sandals. They are new in box. These are from my consignment client, actually my tennis teammate. And these actually were only retailing for about $20 to $25. So I did only mark them on Mercari for $24.99 plus free ship. I do have the auto price drop on Mercari, and it was dropped down to $18, and a lovely buyer came in and purchased it at that price. So my fees to Mercari were $1.80. Through Pirate Ship, I did get a label and I paid $8.13. And because it was a much lower offer or much lower price that it sold for, I did give my consignee a bigger portion of the profit. And she made a profit of $6.07, and I only took $2. And I am happy with that, especially because they didn't retail for a lot to begin with. Now, the next item to sell is by Mulatto, and this is a vintage brand. It did not have a size, so I just did measurements, but it is a sheer kind of ruffle trim, floral, tinsel, embroidered, kind of tie front cardigan. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I knew that picking it up for $4 at my favorite Salvation Army was a great thing because it was going to sell and it was going to sell fast. I did price it very reasonably on eBay for $24.99 plus $7 ship. And I received an offer of $18 plus $7 ship. And because I only got this for $4, I did decide to go ahead and accept that. It cost me $6.36 to ship. I did have it promoted, so those fees were 79 cents. My fees to eBay were $3.75, and I made a total profit of $14.10. Now, the next two items to sell are actually couponing items. I did get them for free, and because the shipping is actually much better for anything 3 pounds and over, and these are, I want to say, 1 pound and 8 ounces, I am going to throw in a third one for free to get it over that 3 pounds, so the shipping is a little less expensive. I've heard a lot of resellers come on YouTube and talk about that, and I think it is a little crazy, but I will go ahead and take advantage of it and, possibly make my customer a little happy for getting 3. But they are these lot of 2 Irish Spring bar soaps, and I am very happy to always get these because actually a lot of people use the shavings to deter ants during the summer. So they can be used for personal hygiene or for, around the house, which is awesome. I did have these priced very reasonably on eBay for $11.99 plus free ship, and a buyer came in and purchased them outright, which we absolutely love. It cost me $7.95 to ship the items. My fees to eBay were $2.02, and I actually made a profit of $2.02. So very happy with that. That money will go right back into my couponing fund, and I will be going to CVS today, so I'll be using that $2. The next item to sell is by Johnny Was, and these are actually coming out of my own closet. I did purchase them on ThreadUp for about $30. They are a pair of pull-on drawstring, kind of faux, not even velour, but they're just a very smooth material jogger. And these are a double XL, and to be honest, 4 to 6 months ago, these were a little tight, and now they are falling off of me. So absolutely love being able to purchase items off of ThreadUp for myself because I know that I can always resell them. And the same with thrifting, obviously. So I did price these pretty high. I priced them at $99.99 plus $10 ship on eBay. And my Nifty sent out 18% off offers to watchers of $81.99 plus $10 ship. And one of those watchers did accept that. Cost me $6.17 to ship. My fees to eBay were $13.05, and I actually made a profit on these, and a good profit at that. I paid $30 and I made a total profit of $72.77. So I a little over than doubled my money, which I think is fantastic. Now, the next item to sell I got at a half off Salvation Army sale for about $4. It is new without tags. It's called the Territory Ahead, or By the Territory Ahead, and it is this really nice 100% cotton short sleeve black maxi dress. Absolutely love this. It is very minimal, but as we all know, minimal sells, so I was happy to purchase this and list it. I did list it very reasonably on eBay for $39.99 plus $10 ship, and a buyer came in and used my 17% off coupon running in my eBay store for the month of July. They paid $33.15 plus $10 ship. It cost me $6.65 to ship. I did not have this item promoted, which we love. My fees to eBay were $6.32, and I turned $4 into $30.18. Usually on eBay, my sales are always promoted, so I just get so in the habit of saying that each item is promoted. And I actually think this next one was. So this next item to sell is by Soft Surroundings. And it is a beautiful teal embroidered peasant blouse. I absolutely love this. I think it is simply fantastic. And I was a little worried because it is Soft Surroundings, and Soft Surroundings on the resale market is heavily declining. But I did like the boho style and the texture to it. So I did go ahead and pick it up at my Salvation Army for half off, so about $4. I priced that at $27.99 plus $7 ship on eBay, and my Nifty sent out 18% off offers to watchers of $21.80 plus $7 ship, and one of those watchers did accept. It cost me $6.95 to ship. It was promoted, so those fees were 93 cents. My fees to eBay were $4.33, and I turned $4 into $16.59. So definitely look up the comps on Soft Surroundings when you pick it up. Usually it's best to pick it up for about $1 or $2 at the bins. So hopefully not the last item to sell today, but the first item to sell today is by Lucky and Love, which is a great athletic brand to be on the lookout for. And it is just a basic crew neck long sleeve, very lightweight. But, you know, anything athletic really just flies out of my stores, and especially Lucky and Love. It seems to be a very trendy brand. So I priced this pretty reasonably on Poshmark for $35, or to me, for a basic top, I did price it pretty aggressively, pretty high, but pretty reasonably for what the brand retails for, I should say. Not resells, retails. So my Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers of 28, and one of those likers did accept. My fees to Poshmark were $5.60. This is coming from the same tennis teammate that gave me those Roxy sandals. So her profit is $13.44, and my profit was $8.96. And for such a basic top, that's a great profit, I think, to get for it, because she was just going to go ahead and donate that anyway. So those are all of the sales that I have to show you. I do have to get them packaged up and shipped out. I really appreciate you guys being here. As always, I hope you're having fantastic thrifting, fantastic sales, and until next time, my friends, bye.